The history of the United States is the story of a nation built from courage, struggle, and dreams. It begins centuries before its founding, when the land was home to millions of Native Americans. Diverse tribes with rich cultures and traditions spread across the continent. Their civilizations thrived long before Europeans ever arrived. In the late 1400s and 1500s, European explorers such as Christopher Columbus, John Cabot, and others reached the Americas. By the early 1600s, European powers, especially England, France, and Spain, began establishing colonies on the eastern coast. The English founded the first permanent settlement at Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. Over time, 13 British colonies grew along the Atlantic coast, becoming centers of trade, farming, and ideas of self-rule. Settlers came seeking religious freedom, economic opportunity, and a new life, though this expansion often displaced Native Americans and involved the use of enslaved Africans for labor. By the mid-1700s, tension grew between the colonies and Britain. Britain imposed taxes and limited their self-government. The desire for independence led to the American Revolutionary War, 1775-1783. On July 4, 1776, the colonies declared independence with the Declaration of Independence, declaring that all men are created equal. After years of war, the colonies defeated Britain, and in 1783, the Treaty of Paris recognized the United States of America as an independent nation. In 1787, American leaders created the U.S. Constitution, building a federal system based on democracy, separation of powers, and individual rights. The Bill of Rights was added in 1791. George Washington became the first president in 1789. The new country was fragile but full of energy and ambition. During the 1800s, the U.S. expanded rapidly westward through purchases, treaties, and wars, including the Louisiana Purchase 1803 and the annexation of Texas and California. Railroads, industry, and farming grew. Millions of immigrants arrived. However, deep conflict grew over slavery. The northern states opposed it, while the southern states depended on it. This conflict exploded into the American Civil War, say 1861-1865, when southern states seceded to form the Confederacy. Under President Abraham Lincoln, the North fought to preserve the Union and end slavery. The North won, the Union was restored, and slavery was abolished with the 13th Amendment in 1865. Lincoln was assassinated shortly after victory, but the nation began to rebuild. After the Civil War, the U.S. entered a period of industrialization and rapid growth. New inventions, steel mills, railroads, oil, and electricity transformed the economy. Immigrants from Europe and Asia poured in, building cities and factories. The U.S. became one of the world's largest industrial powers by the early 1900s. In the 20th century, the U.S. rose to global power. It entered World War I in 1917-1918 and helped the Allies win. The Great Depression 1929-1939 brought economic collapse, but President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal helped recovery. The U.S. entered World War II in 1941-1945 after Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. American forces helped defeat Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. After 1945, the U.S. became one of the two global superpowers alongside the Soviet Union. From 1947 to 1991, the U.S. was locked in the Cold War with the Soviet Union, a struggle between democracy and communism. This era saw the space race. The U.S. landed the first humans on the moon in 1969, the civil rights movement led by Martin Luther King Jr., and wars in Korea and Vietnam. The Cold War ended with the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991, leaving the U.S. as the world's sole superpower. Since the 1990s, the U.S. has led the world in technology, culture, and military power. The 9/11 attacks in 2001 led to wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. American companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, and SpaceX have driven global innovation. The country remains a center of music, movies, sports, science, and education. It has the largest economy in the world and one of the most powerful militaries. Today, the The United States stands as a symbol of democracy, opportunity, and resilience. Its story is one of people who came with nothing, faced enormous challenges, and built a powerful nation through courage, sacrifice, and belief in freedom.